What are you wearing to the wedding? He refused to wear something that was freely given. It wasn't about his poverty. It wasn't about him having lack. It was about his pride, because he wanted the celebration without accepting the king's provision. How many times have you or I just looked to reap the benefits and the blessings that God provides, that the king provides, without identifying ourselves as belonging to him? Verse 11. And when the king came in to see the guest, he saw there, now here's the tension. He saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. A man was there who did not have on a wedding garment. Before we look into this just a little bit further, I want to make sure I say this one thing, because when we're talking about grace, because now I'm just saying that's a place for gratitude, right? Grace, that the invitation is extended with good and bad guests, that if you're there, if you're at the wedding, if you're here, that you're here by the grace of God, that there's a purpose, that there's a reason. God wants us to enjoy everything that he's prepared. But grace never removes God's standard of holiness. Okay? Grace never removes God's standard of holiness. And so even while we're shouting and rejoicing, we're still going to keep rejoicing, but it's important to understand that grace is not a pass for a lack of holiness. All right. So holiness really just teaches us how we live once we get to the wedding feast. What do we do then? What next? All right. And so verse 11. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. And he said to him, Friend, how camest thou in hither, not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. All right, so picture this. Banquet is full, all the people there, everybody's there, they're shocked. Oh my goodness, I didn't know you were coming. Oh, how'd you get here? It was good to see you. Everybody's happy. I can envision, all the banquet, the food is prepared, and maybe there's music and there's horns going, and everything is just, it's such a wonderful celebration. And then the king walks in because he wanted to see the people he invited. He wanted to see the guests that came. And one person stood out. The text says this particular man stood out because he didn't have on a wedding garment. I want to say then that, God, that seems unfair. Wait. What do you mean? The man didn't have on a wedding garment, and then the next verse, he's bound up and thrown into darkness. How is that possible? What are you talking about? Just because he didn't have the wedding garment? But most scholars believe that the king himself always provided garments for those he invited. Wealthy kings would provide wedding garments because they wanted everyone to be properly clothed. Identity. They wanted everyone to be recognized as the king's guest. Identity. They wanted everyone to respect and honor the celebration in the way that they wanted them respected and honored. Identity. Okay. So it wasn't that the man just couldn't afford a wedding garment. He left his at home. If the king provided the very wedding garment and the man did not have it on, what this points to is simply a refusal to wear what had been provided for him. That's how we got to the topic. What are you wearing to the wedding? He refused to wear something that was freely given. It wasn't about his poverty. It wasn't about him having lack. It was about his pride, because he wanted the celebration without accepting the king's provision. He wanted to come and participate in the feast and eat all the good and get all the benefit without clothing himself and identifying and associating with the king. How many times have you or I just look to reap the benefits and the blessings that God provides, that the king provides, without identifying ourselves as belonging to him, without being identified as wearing the very thing that shows others, even that represents to others that we've been invited by him. And that can look like so many different things. It's the silence of the man that really is telling, right? The text says, and he was speechless. He didn't deny it. He didn't make excuse for it. He was simply speechless. So this sounds harsh because, again, you know, we celebrate the king. We're celebrating the king inviting us to this feast and being a part of it. And then there's this refusal, and it's really an internal rebellion, right? Is that he didn't want to be identified. You know, maybe he thought his outfit looked better. I don't know, you know, I don't know what he had on. Maybe he had, that's a new suit he had been saving for a special occasion and he finally got a chance to wear it. But whatever the case is, the fact that he was speechless means that there's no defense. There's nothing that you or I can say when we're called out by the king. There's not anything we can say that would justify, based on the fact that he has already prepared the feast, provided the welcome garments, provided you everything that you needed, gave you every opportunity. It wasn't a lack of grace. It was the rejection of the grace. It was rejecting the grace of God.